Hi, my name is Anita Davis, and this is Miss Carolyn Evans. And we're going to discuss the topic for today is the rebirth of Eve. And we're going to talk about some intricate points that that topic involves. Um, for instance, the rebirth of Eve is a conversation with women about how their lives have evolved and how God has changed their lives, how He's come into their lives, how He's developed them as women. Because the when I think of the term Eve, I think of the mother of all life, and how being a mother and being a woman in the year 2019, how those things affect us individually and collectively.
Sounds good. One of the things that I really like about it that you're talking about the evolution because all life is about change. All life is about change. And just recognizing how much as women we've changed, is really important because one of the things that we don't want to believe a lot of times is that we have changed.
Right.
And sometimes for the good, and
Sometimes for the bad.
right. Exactly.
I,
So,
I think that when we think about how important woman is, how what a nucleus woman is, how we affect our families, our husbands, our children, even our whole environment, we have to be conscious of that change because then when we can identify the changes for the good and the bad, we can be more effective on waging how they affect our lives and our children's lives.
right. Because we are the glue. Being the nucleus of the family, we're the glue. Either things are going to fall apart around us or we're going to be the type of woman that's strong enough, has enough stamina, perseverance, loyalty, and love to keep that family together. Whether it's that wayward child or that wayward husband, in-laws or whatever it is, and that's on top of working today, you know, and
Just stack it, just
yeah,
get more and more. Come
we're
on,
wearing plenty of hats
plenty of
today.
hands.
Most women are wives, mothers, sisters, caregivers, on top of their job, so it's amazing how when we look at the things that we did not have to do, years ago
Right,
as
right.
a female, where we were the ones that were just responsible for the home,
Right.
and staying cute,
Of course, we still gotta stay cute.
Oh yeah, we still gotta stay cute on top of all
On
of
top of
that. On top of
everything else,
everything
I
else, you
know,
still
right?
gotta be cute.
The
You
load doesn't
know?
get less; it seems to get more. And when
Yes.
we think about the desires and the needs of 2019 versus 1970 versus 1950 versus 1940, we definitely see the difference in what our families need and what we have to offer. But one of the things that is a total consistent thing throughout everything is that mom sets the balance and the pace for how these children are nurtured, how they grow up, what they have and what they don't have, their thought processes. Woman is such a powerful tool, such a powerful entity, and I have to be conscious of what was God thinking when He created a woman. I mean, I know He created man first, but He took His time to put man to sleep to give birth to woman, and He took woman out of man. So now we're looking at a whole nother dimension of things that's going on and how important woman is, but how responsible woman is as well. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because we don't get to tap out on the responsibility just because we quote unquote responsible. Because these kids ain't acting a fool on their own. Somebody got to take responsibility for it.
Well, one of the things, you got to look at too, is you said we don't get to tap out, but now in this generation, women are tapping out.
Shut the door.
You have more men that are having to step up to fill that role, that same role that single mothers do. You got single fathers, So we tapping out. A lot of women have the inclination now that it's all about me. Let me see what I can do for me today. And that is one of those changes that's really not good. Because once you mess up the order of things, they say whenever there's no order, there's chaos.
Oh my.
And we can see the chaos in the world, how things are so chaotic now because You got your strong woman, and you got your mild mannered woman. You got your domesticated woman, and then you got these women that are just wayward. So even though we know that we have the responsibility to be that glue, a lot of women are not choosing to stick and stay and do that.
And then we have to be responsible for what it looks like, what our communities look like, what our children look like, what our schools look like. I can never get in my mind how it is so easy to put educating our kids, make it somebody else's responsibility. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we send our kids to school, but the parent is supposed to be the primary educator. The people in the school are supposed to be helping you educate your child, but at the end of the day, it don't look like that because these kids they don't have the close knitness of the foundation of home, and they have to fend for what they get. They have to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? So, and we have to take responsibility for that because as women, we're supposed to be nurturers. We're supposed to be laying a foundation and creating something that our children can benefit from, and we have to be conscious of that. So, when I think about one of the questions would be 2019 woman versus, I don't know, 1980, 1970, 1960, 50, 40, the women of an earlier genre. What do we have in 2019 that makes us stronger? And what do we have in 2019 that makes us weaker?
Well, you got to look at, back in the day, I wasn't there, but
I know, right?
But back in the day, women had a position, and you had working women, you had women that was in the military, but these women were backed by men that knew their position also.
Wow.
So it wasn't any competition. It was that cohesiveness that helped keep that family together because everybody was on the same page. Yeah. So as time evolved, what happened was when all these different things started coming up, where women wanted more rights and they wanted to be more equal, and we'll never be equal to a man. We was not made to be equal to man. We are actually man's helpmeet, and when you fall out of your position or what it is that you're supposed to be doing in this life, it all the stuff trickles down. Of course, the kids are gonna be affected. The husband is affected. That's why now, it's hard for women that say that good women. It's hard to find a good man. Because there's been so much damage been done. Because you find a good man with these they call them old fashioned values now. But what they are is values and beliefs that he grew up with. If we don't grow up with those same values and beliefs, then we think that it's outdated and it's something that we don't want to do. I'm not gonna stay at home and cook. I don't believe in raising no baby. I'm not gonna have a house full of children. No, I won't be a model. I don't want a career.
I know. I'm Superwoman.
I'm Superwoman.
And I'm not saying that you can't achieve or accomplish those things, but you got to do everything in moderation. You got to do everything in timely manners. If you know you got a house full of 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-year-olds, and you want to go out and do those things, you should have thought about that when you start having these babies.
Exactly, because they affected the kids, and I believe that that's a big part of the problem. If the woman was not subjected to those values, if she did not have those values instilled in her, she's not going to instill them in her children. You can't transmit something you don't have. So we have to make sure that we're raising kings and queens, that we're raising responsible adults, that we're looking at one day these kids are going to be on their own. So what are they going to be capable of? What are we teaching them? Because back in the day, the boys were taught to sew, to cook, to clean. Now you got boys just laying on the couch on video games, expecting for you to bring everything to them.
But
But they
then
looking at these daddies
I was just gonna tell
that's
you
doing the same
that ain't coming up
thing.
out of nowhere.
You know.
That right there
So
there's a root to that. You know what I'm saying? Because I can only do what I have seen being done.
exactly.
You know, even the Bible said Jesus did what he saw his father doing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so at the end of the day, I mean, what are you showing your children?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody want to say do as I say, but you don't realize it is do as I do.
Yeah.
Because these kids are watching what you're doing.
They're watching. They're watching. And you know, even if you feel like this man is out of order, you know, you got to look at what's your limitation, what's your mental limitation that have you there with somebody that's doing that out of order, and you sticking and staying.
Because that speaks.
That
speaks. Even what you don't say more than what you do say sometimes. Because at the end of the day, what is my self-value, self-esteem, self-worth?
Right.
If I'm okay with this nonsense, and at the end of the day, somebody got to be able to say, this is what we do, and this is what we don't do. And I show you this because I'm not tolerating something that doesn't benefit us. It doesn't make us whole. It doesn't make us better. I think we really have to be conscious of that.
Right.
We really do. And I think when we look at the rebirth of Eve, we're discussing how Eve, 2019 Eve, how is she reborn? Is she in some ways better, in some ways worse? There's always pros and cons to pretty much everything. So that's the conversation. 2019 Eve, how is she better? You probably say she making more money. She got a better education.
She's probably more educated.
But at the end of the day, is education enough?
It depends on what you're doing with it. You know, because the thing about education is that it's useless without application.
Ooh, girl.
You know, so if I'm this educated woman, there should be some things that I know, some things that ain't even in the book.
What?
But some of the book should disclose it to me. You know what I'm saying?
There ought to be a clue.
It's got to be some clues, some breadcrumbs that I can follow, you know. And the guidelines, you know, if we looking at, do we have Christian values anymore?
Big.
Are we sticking or adhering to those things?
But you know Christianity, I am a Christian, let me just say that. And Christianity has really taken a blow in the year 2019 because people are like, I don't want to be a Christian, I want to be spiritual. And I want to be, but you have to be conscious of what it is that you are assigning or assimilating yourself with. Because being spiritual is an interesting state of events. That ain't got nothing to do with a God that with Christ that has died on the cross and bled and died and came back to life for our benefit. Versus being spiritual, there's a whole lot of spirits out there, and you don't even know who have them either. Do you really? You don't even know if they were out for your good. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be conscious of that. And so I said Christianity has taken a blow. There's an ideology or a thought that it is not enough. But I don't believe that. I don't assign or assimilate to that. I believe Christianity is enough. But in the year 2019, we're looking at the rebirth of Eve. What has she lost in 2019?
Well,
definitely lost.
It's a lot being lost because if you look at the consensus of how many marriages, you know, are not taking place, how many more people are just shacking up? You know, how many people don't even want to get married because they don't want to let go of their Social Security check? You know, how many people have just settled for less? You know, it's a woman's decision. It's your decision if that's what you want to do. Because a man is only going to go as far as you allow him to.
Say that.
Even a foolish man know when it's time to get out of something that he can't do his foolishness with.
I know,
you know.
Because at the end of the day, where's the standard? Who makes the standard?
Who makes it?
Who is making the standard? Because if we're making a standard that you're going to treat me right, I'm going to be respected, I'm allowed to be educated and all these different things, and I can still come home and you can still be, and I know how to submit myself to you without fear of that you're going to harm me or disrespect me or, and you can be anything less than loving towards me, then that creates a place where a woman wants to come. You know, if I think I'm going to get these things out of you, but in the same note, we as women got to learn to watch our mouth.
Well, my thing with Love Walk Ministry, one of the things that I realized is that the woman is not the only person in the relationship.
Yeah.
You know, we tend to forget that men, have the same, I would say, ideology, feelings that we do. They may express them different, but they hurt. They have needs, they have wants, they have desires, they have goals. Now, all of this can be broken in one bad relationship.
Ooh.
And when we come upon this brokenness, sometimes instead of trying to be the one that can help rebuild, like the man need a rebirth too, okay? Instead of trying to help rebuild this, we classify it as crazy. We classify it as I ain't gonna deal with that. I ain't gonna do that. Now we want you to deal with all our stuff. I got a whole brand new type of crazy that should be all right with you. But don't bring your crazy over here. Right. And we got to stop taking such disregard for who this man is. As a help me, help meet those decisions, help meet those goals, help meet those desires. The Bible talks about us exalting one another. Learn how to be more encouraging because, just like you talking about how we don't never close our mouth. We don't know how to hush. We not meek and mild. We get educated and then, that's the top story now. So,
my mom used to educate the food.
Okay. Always speaking out of turn, but the things that we say out our mouth carries a lot of weight.
Don't it though?
Whether it's negative or positive, it's falling somewhere. And a lot of times we emotionally castrate these men, and verbally abuse them and then expect for them to still stand up and be strong. But we got to watch it. Watch what we doing. Watch what we breaking. You know what I'm saying?
But then that would mean that you got to identify that you broken before you go trying to heal with somebody else. Because brokenness can only, if you sit a broken woman after a broken man, she gonna break him even worse. Yeah. But if she takes the time to get healed, if she takes the time, we talk about being educated. Because 2019, everybody wanted a degree in this, a degree in that, a degree in this, a degree in that. How about that? But there's no degree for common sense, but it need to be one.
Yeah, right. But some people need to be put back because they don't have it.
And I'm like, you have to make a conscious decision to know that yes, I want a fulfilling relationship, but I need to go get healed. And that's a big girl. You gotta have some big girl panties to put that on.
And the identification is the problem, because if you can't identify there is a problem, you can't find a solution. You're not gonna seek help if your thing is I don't need no help. I'm all right just the way I am. Take me and leave me. If you ain't gonna put up with that, then you might as well go. Okay, but how many times have you had to say that in your relationships? How many times have you heard the words, you crazy?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Because everybody can't be wrong.
But and that's something that they don't mean it.
Yeah.
They're not serious. But at the end of the day, it's some self-evaluations that are important.
It's very important. It is very important. Because, I remember when I had to go back in and do that inventory in my relationship, just look at all the damage and the pain that I have caused, different people over the years, because I never did identify that there was a problem, that problem was me. I always thought it was the other person. Either he didn't have enough money, he didn't have enough time, he didn't have enough stamina, he had other children. Something was always wrong with him. But I never could identify that I was the common denominator in all of my relationships.
Isn't that something? But it took strength. It took something to happen to make you say, I need to evaluate me.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't know. I know that's not something that just like, you know, just wake up one morning. No, it's something that has to happen that says, I need to evaluate me. The rebirth of Eve is looking at those evaluations and making a conscious decision to let God help you. Because you can't do it on your own. Mm-hmm. If you could do it on your own, you wouldn't need a God.
Exactly.
You know, what I need God for if I can heal myself? And,
right.
and the fact of the matter is, I got to identify I need healing. Mm-hmm. And then I ask God, hey, God, come help me heal because I can't do it by myself. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, I don't see how nobody, I'm just personally, I don't see how anybody wouldn't want a God that would heal you in the midst of your craziness. He would first allow you to come to the knowledge of, I need healing. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And then be there to help you get through it. Mm-hmm. Man, he a bad man.
He is. God is big, you know, and it's so important to develop that relationship so that when he's speaking to you, you can hear him. Right. Because without that relationship, you can't even hear him. You don't even see the signals. Ooh. You don't see the signs. You can't get the revelations, you know, so you know, developing that relationship with God before you try to develop a relationship with anybody else. Mm-hmm. You know, I would encourage anybody, get a relationship with God first. Yes. Even though a lot of people say get a relationship with yourself and then God. No, get a relationship with God and he will introduce you to yourself. You know. So that's a lot.
And that's the interesting thing too, because in your mind, sometimes you can get in your own head and be your worst enemy. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Because you know all the hurt spots, you can hit the hurt spots better than anybody else. But it comes a time when you can get outside yourself and really allow God to show you where and what, you know what I'm saying, who you really are, and you know, heal you of those hurts and those pains. And that's my desire for any and everybody, is that they will get into a place where God could help them see where they need to be healing, and then so they can walk it out. Because it's not an overnight thing. It's not. And everybody got an issue, and everybody got a dilemma, and everybody got a situation going on. There's always something going on.
There's always something, you know, and during this rebirth in 2020, I think a lot of women should reevaluate if you have not evaluated. If you have evaluated and didn't get anything from it, you know, reevaluate your ability to forgive.
Oh my!
You know, because that is such a
that's big.
What do you call it when stronghold? That is such a stronghold. You know, on so many women. You know. And when you find that ability to forgive, you know, you'll start treating people differently.
Oh my!
You'll start being able to understand that everybody made mistakes. Everybody not gonna be perfect. You know, some people ain't even gonna be real good. You know, so you know, but then when you look in the mirror, you can understand I'm not either.
Come on, that's big.
You know, I make some big mistakes. You know, some gigantic mistakes that I don't want nobody holding over my head for the rest of my life or for the rest of theirs. You know, so.
But forgiveness is not for the other person; it's for you.
Yeah, it's.
I mean, I know we hear that. We hear that. Oh man, you don't know what they did to me. And I know Tyler Perry done said it a few times, and I saw it on Facebook a few times. But the fact of the matter, it is true. It is very true. Forgiveness is for you, baby. Because at the end of the day, I mean, I was in my life. I've been in a situation where someone really wronged me, really hurt me, really made me, just broke me. And I was in church one day, and the lady told me, because I'm a mother. I have 3 sons, and my sons are grown now, but they weren't grown at this time. The lady in church told me, I was sitting there listening to the sermon, and she said to me, you feed your children from whatever spoon you have. Whether it is a clean spoon, whether it is a big spoon, a small spoon, a little spoon, or no spoon at all. The spoon that you feed your kids is the one that you have. And if you're broken and you're hurt and you have all these issues and dilemmas going on inside of you, your spoon is nasty. And that's what you're giving your babies. Now, as a mother, do you want to feed your babies out of a dirty spoon?
Right.
And that hit me so real for me, because I love my babies. Oh, I'm a mama bear about my boo-boos. I'll fight you about them jokers. But who was I gonna fight? I had to get in the fight with me for that one. Because that was real for me. I'm not finna feed my babies out no dirty spoon.
Right.
What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in here and I'm gonna tell God the truth and I'm gonna get some healing. So that God can heal me so that I can give my babies the best that I have. And as a mother, and I mean, as a woman in the year 2019, I think it's important that we make a decision to give our children the best that we have. And we can't give them the best that we have if we choose to be broken. We don't choose to heal. We like that sense of chaos, you know. And there are people who enjoy it.
Some people do. They thrive on it. You know, some people have been living in it so long that when they around peace, peaceful people or people that have different values, they don't understand it. You know, so, you know, they may, you know, rebel against that because it is not the way that they used to be. You know, but everything is about change. You know, we changing constantly. You know, and it's best that whatever it is that making you unhappy, you know, whatever got you in a position where you just can't sleep at night. You know, you eating too little, eating too much. You just don't feel good about you. You don't feel good about other people. It's written all over your face. You know, then it's time to do something different. It's time to make those changes, you know, and those changes it's an ongoing process. It never stops. We always strive to do better, to be better, you know, to give better, you know, and just know that you got to start somewhere.
Yes.
You got to start somewhere. Everything starts with your first step. You know, start stepping into your new life, your new you. You know, be somebody that somebody else don't mind being around. Be somebody that you don't even mind being around.
But you know what? That is true. There are people who don't enjoy their own company. I mean, there are people who have to sleep with the TV, the radio, and everything on because they don't want to be quiet by themselves.
Right.
They don't want to hear their own thoughts. Now, that's sad when you get to that point. But me, I love me some me, girl. I like quiet time. Please turn the radio on. I can sit in that room all day by myself. But at the end of the day, this is the rebirth of Eve.
Right.
And that means that you can do it again. You don't have to stay that way. There is a healing. The song comes to my mind. There is a healing for my soul. There's a healing. There is a balm in Gilead, and you don't have to stay like that.
That's right.
These will be a series of conversations. Today, I had a wonderful opportunity having a wonderful conversation with Miss Carolyn Evans. And she has her own nonprofit, Love Walk Ministries. Awesome. I mean, that is a wonderful experience. And we'll be interviewing other young ladies, and they'll get a chance to give their testimonies, and they'll get a chance to tell about how God has affected and how they've been reborn and how they're walking in the newness of Christ. And I want you to celebrate with these ladies. It's important that we learn to say, girl, you know you looking good. You're doing great. And that's important. That is everything. Because
your sister's keeper.
Yes, to speak life into people. Speak life into people. And you know, I know the holidays right now are about it, and people are going through whatever they're going through, and some are excited about it and some are not. But my prayer is that everybody knows that Jesus loves you and that you're not alone. And I pray that everybody finds a place to get food, and everybody finds shelter, and everybody finds their needs to be met. I'm gonna let Miss Carolyn Evans close us out today.
I just want to say thank you so much. This is my dear friend, and I'm so proud of you. You know, and this is such an awesome avenue, you know, to take women through, you know, that evolution of Eve because it starts with her. It starts with her.
It really do.
You know, so we need to be conscious that there was somebody that came before us that we need to represent. We need to represent.
That's true.
And stand up for what you know is right. And do right. Be right. Have right.
On purpose.
On purpose. And in order to do that, you got to know the man that's right.
Amen.
So get with God.
Thank you. This is the rebirth of Eve. And I look forward to getting with you on our next venture. Thank you.